What's up, guys? It's another Dragonflight video. And I realized I never made a video covering the main concept, the main changes, how the huge profession revamp is going to look. And, well, we're a month out, so it's about time, right? So that's what we're going to look at in this video. We're going to look at how the new crafting system works, some thoughts on optimization based on what it's currently looking like and what the bottlenecks are going to be, and where the profit potential is going to be, essentially. So yeah, that's it. Now this is a crafter. This is a character I have on beta. And as you can see here, we have the normal crafting skill. This is very similar to how it's been in the past. I'm currently 28 out of 100. I have a bonus from profession gear that we'll tackle later. And these little icons indicate whether or not you'll level up. Leveling up functions exactly the same as in the game right now. If I craft this one, it's going to give me 2 skill points. Since it's orange, it's guaranteed to give me 2 skill points, and boom, I'm level 30. Exactly the same. But that's where it ends. Well, that's also how you train recipes. Obviously, this is just a beta trainer. I'm now skill 30, so I can train all the skill 30 recipes. Everything is very similar so far. But this whole thing right here, when I opened one of these recipes, this is very different. This is extremely new. This is the concept of a recipe difficulty, which is how hard is this recipe going to be to craft, essentially. And this is evaluated compared to your crafting skill and determines the quality of the item. So every crafted item has a quality. It can go anywhere from quality 1 up to quality 5 for gear. Some items like materials only have 3 qualities. So I think this is the case for like Frostfire Alloy. But for finished items, they can go up to quality 5. So depending on your skill, that's going to impact what quality you can craft it at. As you can see here, I'm skill 45. Recipe difficulty is 60. I'm going to craft it at the minimum quality of 3, and a good portion of the time I'm going to get quality 4. So if we were to craft like 3 of this, we would get a couple of quality 3s and a couple of quality 4s most likely. So now I got quality 3, quality 3. I'm actually going up in level, so now we're high enough level that the next one is going to be a guaranteed quality 4. If your skill is the same as the recipe difficulty, then it's guaranteed quality 5 every time. Essentially, you have these other stats. They are less important. Inspiration is a chance to get a higher crafting skill, but it's just a chance. It's a proc. And since most of the high-level gear is bind and pick up, this is really bad because you want to be consistent. Resourcefulness gives you a chance to reduce the crafting cost. Very good. The crafting speed speeds up your craft, also very good. But what all this means, or this part right here, means that crafting skill is going to be incredibly important. Getting this number as high as possible is going to be extremely important. Now, I don't have any super cool recipes yet because I haven't spent that much time leveling, but if you open up some of the unlearned ones, we can see that the epic armors, for instance, they have a recipe difficulty of 280 for these ones, and the ones with extra procs, extra abilities on them, they're even better. They have a recipe difficulty of 325. So to craft these at quality 5, you would need to max out your profession, and you need another 225 points from somewhere. So obviously you can increase your skill by using higher quality materials, because materials go from 1 to 3. You can equip a crafting accessory or blacksmithing tool. This one gives me +6. And then there's the big one, profession knowledge. This is where you get most of your skills. So for armor, there's the armor smithing base node. You can put 30 points here. That's going to give you 30 more points when crafting armor. And then you can pick large plate armor specialization. Put another 30 points here. That's another 30 skill points specifically for plate armor. Then you can put another 30 points into leg armor, specifically greaves. And on top of that, this one has +5 bonuses at 3 of the different, or at 4 of the milestones. This node in total gives you another 50. That means you can get 110 extra crafting skill just from this. But that's still not enough, obviously. So on top of that, you're going to need this one that's going to give you 30 to every crafting, or going to give you 40 total to every recipe. That's going to give you 150. total from your knowledge. So that's going to put you at 250 skill, which means you're really close to crafting these at recipe difficulty at quality 5. But you're going to need to find another 20, 30, 40, 50. Usually you can do that with just higher materials. That's what I tested earlier. I haven't figured out all the best approaches yet. But needless to say, you need to max out this skill number as high as possible. That's the point. And that means that knowledge is important, because knowledge is the main way you unlock crafting skill. You get a lot of crafting skill from putting points into these nodes, and that's going to be extremely important. Now, early on, you have two different approaches you can take. You can max out the base node here, this armor smithing base node that gives you a bonus to all armors. Then you can put 10 points into this, 10 points into this, and then you can unlock two different recipes. You can, for these medium recipes, the first, every time you unlock, hit the 10 point cap, then you can unlock a new recipe essentially. So you need to put 30 points here if you want all of the large armor recipes. So you could put all your points here, unlock all of the specializations, put 10 in each and get one recipe each. Probably not the best approach. Or you can go 10 points here, max out large plate armor and get all of the large plate armor recipes and have decent skill at all of them. Or you can go hyper specialization. You can go 10 points here, 10 points here, and then 30 points straight into Greaves, because this is going to give you by far the largest skill bonus. And then your goal is to just get to quality 5 for that specific recipe as soon as possible. What approach is best depends on all of the sources of knowledge, which I haven't mapped out, and exactly how fast you can get them. But there are different approaches here. My gut feeling is that maxing out one specific recipe is going to be the best, which then means that having loads of crafting alts is going to be hugely strong, because then you can max out multiple end nodes at the same time. Because you can get a lot of knowledge just from crafting one of each recipe. That's one of the ways you get knowledge. Craft one of each recipe, that's going to be 50 to 100 knowledge depending on the profession, and going to be enough to get you to one of the end nodes, to essentially maxing out Greaves and being very close to a high quality. But we don't know yet. Another thing that's extremely overpowered in Dragonflight is profession racials. So we're going to jump over to my Dark Iron Dwarf. As you can see here, this profession now goes to 105 due to the racial bonus that Dark Iron Dwarves have. I don't know which it is, but mass production increases blacksmithing skill by 5. It means I start at skill level 6, and it means my maximum skill level is 105. That's 5 extra skill level I can get over anyone else that they're going to need to spend 5 knowledge to get for one specific recipe type, or to get a higher, better profession tool. So that's going to be extremely strong. And having all of your crafters on the right, or the best possible profession bonus, is going to be very, very useful. The other thing here is you have these optional reagents are making their return. And there are multiple different ones. You have these infusions, which are going to increase the item level, I believe. I haven't unlocked them. That was what they did on alpha. Then you can add embellishments. These are various quite powerful effects, such as this one, which increases the duration of Dragon Isles potions by 50%. So that's obviously going to be very, very strong. If you put this on 2 pieces of your crafted gear, that's going to leave you with very double potion duration. So depending on what potions you're using, that's going to be a very strong performance increase, and that's in addition to whatever stats you have. Adding these will increase the recipe difficulty, as you can see here, from 35 for the lowest quality one. They all have the same effect, but the higher quality ones has a lower recipe difficulty increase, which means you're more likely to be able to finish the craft at quality 5, essentially. And then you can add the infusions, and there's also these finishing reagents that you can add once you've maxed out large plate armor and breastplates. There's 2 different ones. They are going to give you extra crafting skills, so make it easier to craft the absolute highest quality gear, essentially. So that's pretty much how crafting gear works. And as I said, profession knowledge and crafting skill is going to be 2 things you will want to max out. They will determine what your competition is. If you're the first one to max out a particular specialization, you're going to craft better gear. And particularly the fact you can only complete 30 public work orders. A lot of gear is going to be sold through work orders, and they're going to have to be sold directly to crafters. So you're going to want to advertise, hi, I am crafting quality 4, whatever. Get item level 380, 390 gear now. And you're going to be selling that piece, and you're going to do that in trade chat and have them send you work orders. And that's going to be the case. Now, what kind of specialization routes that are best, it depends on how many alts you have. One thing that's absolutely abundantly clear, the more alts, the better, seriously. You can get a lot of knowledge just from crafting one of each, which means that you can just spend a lot of gold, power through, and get to a point where maybe you can craft a quality 4, quality 5 recipe with very little other min-maxing. You can just get to max skill level, put in a bunch of knowledge from crafting of different recipes, and you'll probably be crafting one recipe at a very high level, but nothing else. So that's something that we could be looking at as an optimal degenerate approach, to have just an absolutely crazy amount of alts. Either way, guys, this is how crafting works. I didn't touch much on inspiration, resourcefulness, and crafting cost or crafting speed, because they don't matter as much, at least not for early gold making. Resourcefulness, obviously useful to reduce your crafting cost. Inspiration, not useful outside of mass producing stuff for sale. So if you're not mass producing, then it doesn't matter, because it's not reliable for work orders. You can't rely on inspiration to get you to quality 5, so people aren't going to be willing to pay you for the chance of getting a quality 5 piece, so that's why I don't like inspiration. Crafting speed is very good for for stuff like this. For intermediate materials, multicraft is another one for stackable items. You can proc more. They matter for like maximizing the cost. But more important than the cost is going to be like actually getting to the skill level where you can craft the Infurious Ally at quality 3, which is going to be a bigger limiting factor than how cheap you can craft them early on, and then farther down the line you're going to want to min-max your resourcefulness and multicraft. So yeah. Overall, I think professions are going to be extremely strong. There's also some very cool stuff here that we'll cover when we go into the professions, but it looks like a lot of high-end recipes are going to be purchasable on the auction house, which is going to be interesting, to say the least. Either way, guys, let me know if there's anything I missed or anything you think that I should have covered better. Anything you're still wondering about this, then let me know in the comments. We can do a follow-up video, or we can cover it once we get into the profession previews, which is what I'm planning next. We'll be doing over the next couple of weeks, looking at all the professions, looking at the economically relevant crafts, how to take advantage of them, and the sort of specialization routes that I would consider taking for those professions. So guys, hope you're excited for Dragonflight. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you on the next episode.